Have you ever noticed how some things in life just seem to go one way? A dropped glass shatters but never spontaneously reassembles. A hot cup of coffee cools down but never gets hotter on its own. These aren't just random occurrences. They are profound manifestations of one of the most fundamental principles in physics. The second law of thermodynamics is always irreversible because it describes the natural tendency of an isolated system to move toward states of greater entropy or disorder. This means that processes which increase the overall disorder of the universe are spontaneous and cannot simply run in reverse without some external input of energy. The core reason lies in probability. Entropy is a measure of the number of microscopic arrangements or microstates that correspond to a given macroscopic state. Imagine a system with energy concentrated in one area, representing a low entropy or highly ordered state. There are vastly fewer ways for this energy to be concentrated than there are for it to be spread out and dispersed throughout the system. Therefore, a system naturally evolves toward the most probable state, which is one where energy and matter are distributed as broadly and randomly as possible. For an isolated system, the total entropy can never decrease. It either stays the same for reversible processes, which are theoretical ideals, or more commonly, it increases for all real-world irreversible processes. So what does this mean for us? It tells us why heat always flows from a hotter object to a colder one, why sugar dissolves in coffee but does not spontaneously separate, and why our cars cannot convert all the fuel's energy into motion. Every time an engine runs, a light bulb glows, or a chemical reaction occurs, some energy inevitably dissipates into the environment as unusable heat, increasing the overall entropy of the universe. This dispersal of energy makes it unavailable to do further useful work, marking the process as irreversible. This concept is beautifully encapsulated by Ludwig Boltzmann's statistical interpretation of entropy, which quantifies this relationship between entropy and the number of microstates. He showed that the macroscopic irreversibility we observe, like the cooling of coffee, arises from the sheer statistical unlikelihood of all those individual molecules ever spontaneously returning to their initial, concentrated, and highly ordered arrangement. It is not an impossible event in principle, but one so astronomically improbable that it effectively becomes impossible within the observable lifespan of the universe, hence its classification as irreversible. Ultimately, the second law of thermodynamics isn't about everything falling apart, but rather about the fundamental direction of energy flow and transformation. It establishes an arrow of time for the universe, guiding all spontaneous processes toward greater statistical probability and dispersed energy, thereby defining the limits of what is naturally possible and setting the efficiency ceilings for all our technological endeavors.